Even though triangular barrels are not my thing, somehow I'm really excited about this. Hi everybody, today I am taking a look at the Staedtler Triplus Fineliner Triplus Fineliner pens that are in this pack that I got, I believe, on Amazon. Like I said in the intro, in the past I've tried using the Staedtlers and I wasn't a fan because I don't like the triangular barrel all that much. But the colors are really beautiful and I decided that for the big Fineliner Thunderdome I'm going to be doing in June, I wanted to make sure to have a good selection of colors so that it would be comparable to like the colors I have from my Stabilos and some of the other Fineliners. From what I found, and I could be wrong, but from my internet scouring, I found that there is a 48 pack of Staedtlers out there, but that's not the one I grabbed. I grabbed the 36 Brilliant Colors set. As of the recording of this video on Amazon, this set is $18.87, which is not bad for this many pens. And it says that part of the 36 count is 6 neon colors. And I'm a fan of neon colors. So let's go to the Staedtler website and look at some of the features of these pens. It says they are fineliners with super fine metal clad tip. And according to this, it's an 0.3 millimeter tip. Ergonomic triangular shape for relaxed and easy writing. They are dry safe. You can leave them uncapped for days without drying up in standard atmosphere, except for the neon colors. Water-based ink, washes out of many textiles, stand-up Staedtler box, which is not the box I got. I've seen the plastic box where you fold it and it stands open. I don't like those boxes, so I'm fine not having that. I'm fine with the cardboard packaging. I'm going to see how they do with water once you've let them dry and how quickly they dry. I'll see how they feel ergonomically, even though I know triangles aren't my thing. I'm going to leave one of these uncapped for the day, and then I will come back and give it a test, and you can see what it looks like after a whole day of being left uncapped. I'm also going to be doing a swatch page in my bullet journal for these. Instead of just writing them on regular paper, I'm going to just do them in the bullet journal. That way I have it there for when I might need it later. So as you can see from this set, one of the nice parts of it is that it is a beautiful array of colors. They have a lot of different shades and gradations in between shades. I will comment more on the shade range once I've tested them all, but just looking at it, it is very satisfying. I just pulled out the black. So here is the barrel. It is the triangle barrel, and it's not quite as sharp as I remember it being, which is okay. The nice part about the triangle barrel is it doesn't roll. It just stops where it goes, which I do appreciate as somebody who loses pens. The thing I dislike about the triangle barrel specifically, I don't find it that ergonomically comfortable, but I can live with it. Most pens tend to make my finger hurt after a while, but I hate that you have to pay attention to how you're capping it. Otherwise the cap doesn't go on right. Like, that's the thing that irks me. I like to be able to just cap without thinking about it, and you have to think about it too much. It seems like a silly thing, but when you use a lot of pens, silly things like that matter. When you put the cap on the end of this, it seems to stay on okay. It doesn't feel very snug. Like, it feels kind of loose. It just comes right off. But it stays on if you touch it. So that's interesting to me. Whoa, except for then. It's not the most secure fit of the cap on the end. Let's just put it that way. The cap closes very satisfyingly, but again, doesn't feel as secure. But if these are truly pens you can leave uncapped for a while, then why not? I'm taking this green one. This is actually from a previous set. I'll just show you how well it writes right now. It writes just fine. I'm going to leave it uncapped on my desk for the duration of filming this video. We'll come back to it, and then we'll come back to it again later today. But as for this black one, this one is brand new. Fuck. I really don't like how these caps go on the end. They just feel so loose. This is brand new. I love how these write. Here's the thing. My issue with the Staedtlers is purely in the barrel. The way they write is really comfortable. If you push down too hard, the nib will start to bend. So if you're heavy-handed, you do need to be careful. They're not as tough as some fineliners, like a Papermate Flare, where they're super tough and can stand up to my hand. They're not quite so tough. Notice I pressed down hard and it already is a fatter line than it was. See, this is the first line, and then I pressed down hard, and now the line is a little bit mushed, and you can see, I don't know how well you can see, but the tip is slightly bent. That's just from pressing down about as hard as I usually do, so they're a little bit fragile when it comes to your heavy hand. This is dry. I'm going to give it a quick test with water to see how it stands up. It didn't say they were waterproof, but I'm curious. Those are very much not waterproof. Let's see how quickly they dry. There's that fucking cap. smeared a little bit from the first writing, so I'm going to write again, give it a second or two. Relatively okay. Not the fastest drying pens in the world, but they're not super juicy either. Now, when it comes to holding them, I will say that the ergonomicness comes if you take the flat part of the pen and hold it against your like callousy area, if you've got that right here, which I can see why that would make somebody really happy. It's just not my thing, but I thought that I would mention it because after all, some people do really like it, and I swear to God, this cap is driving me batshit. Okay, so we're going to pull these pens out. We're going to do a swatch page in my bullet journal, and we're going to look at all the colors, and then I will give you my thoughts on this particular mix of colors and how I like it. Well, that was harder than I thought it was going to be. And the reason it was hard was because none of these pens are marked with their colors. There's no number, there's no color name, nothing. It's just the cap color. So I was going off of a color chart on jet pens and kind of looking to see if they match. And I feel like I may have got some of these wrong. This dark mauve, I don't know if that looks dark mauve to me, but according to what I was seeing on the Jet Pens website, I think that's what that is. There are a few different mistakes I may have made in here, but it wasn't easy to figure out. There was no image. I'm sure there's one out there that I just couldn't find, but it was very difficult. So even doing this swatch page, it's going to be hard for me to tell which pen is which at a glance, and I don't like that. One of the things that's hard but also manageable with Tombow is that there's a number, so you have to sort of take a guess from looking at the cap color, but then you'll be able to confirm with the color number, and here there isn't even a number to identify them. That's frustrating. When it comes to the actual colors, I love this selection. I think it is a really excellent one. My biggest beef would be with like the really pale colors. The ones that come to mind are the yellow, the lime green, and the silver gray are really, really pale, and I guess if you're coloring that could come in handy, but for writing it's going to be really hard to read. Same with the neon yellow. The rest of the neon colors are relatively easy to read, but the neon yellow is really difficult. As for the actual like color gradations and everything, I really like the mixture. I feel like the biggest kind of overlap in here is with Van Dyke Brown and Warm Sepia. They are different from each other. One is warmer than the other, but it's very, very subtle. Also, the cyan and the blue, very subtle difference. But other than that, I think the colors are close enough to create a gradient, but far enough apart where that you can tell obviously what they are. And I'm not sure what extra colors the 48 set has, but for this color mix is really nice. I'm leaving this page blank because when I do my Stabilos, I want to put them here so we can kind of look at them in comparison to each other, because I would say that the Stabilos and the Staedtlers are sort of direct competition to each other when it comes to colorful fine liners. As you can see here, there's a little tiny bit of shadowing, tiny bit of shadowing, but no bleed through in the Scribbles That Matter paper. So these very much are planner friendly fine liners, especially if you want to color code. So this dark green has been sitting here for, I don't know, the last 20 minutes or so. So here's what it looks like after 20 minutes uncapped. I'm going to insert some footage right here of me writing after 5 hours, and you be the judge of whether you think that these are awesome if you leave them uncapped. Honestly, I will say leaving them uncapped is a fucking possibility because I'm really not liking how unsecure these caps feel. Let's round up how I feel about these. When it comes to the pros of these, I love the color combinations. The price is really great, especially if you can get them for what they are right now for 18 something bucks at Amazon, or you can get them at Michael's and use a coupon. They feel really comfortable when you write with them. When it comes to the tip on the paper, I think the triangle barrel is a personal choice. It's not my thing, but it's not something that would deter me from recommending these to people, just to say, if this is the style of pen you like to hold, you'll really like it. If it isn't, then you won't, if that makes sense. The things that I see as more universal downsides to these, I guess, are that like I said, you can't identify the colors by looking at the pen unless you're looking at the cap. For me, it is a drawback to not be able to glance at my swatch page, decide I want this specific color, and then have to fucking figure out which one is that color. I don't like that. Not my thing. The other drawback I have with these is that I don't know if you saw this, but while I was working, I was super struggling to keep the cap on the butt of the pen. And I know that you can just set it down. It's super first world problem, but for me that matters. And I don't like that at all. But when it comes to fine liners in general, these are good pens. I understand why people like them. I will be doing a more direct comparison with them to the Stabilos when I do my fine liner roundup in June. So stay tuned for that. Why don't you give me some suggestions of other pens you'd like me to take a look at in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.